Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Have You Seen This? I'm Daniel. This is my co-host Snark. We're gonna talk some TV tonight, and there's actually quite a lot of it. And obviously, I gotta have my pal here to talk about it and break down so many things that are coming this March, and a couple of things that came on the tail end of February that we might have missed. But before we get to that, how's it going, Rob?
Oh, it's going fine. It's got to be an important. It's got to be an important episode. If I'm going to miss the Jets and the Habs play tonight, which should be an absolute frigging slugfest.
I mean, in any other year.
Well, yeah. Well, considering just from what happened in the playoffs last year when Scheifele almost took off that dude's head and got suspended for the rest of it, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm not even sure that guy's a Hab anymore. And if he is, he's injured. That's been their story this season.
Doesn't mean anything anymore.
But yeah, so we've got some TV news to talk about. The first thing that I moved to the absolute top of the schedule is that John Dimaggio is officially on with Futurama. The reboot is coming, and all of our favorites are back.
I guess he's comfortable with Hulu driving a dump truck full of money and dumping it on his front lawn after all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wouldn't have been the same without him, so I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly could have I could have taken it or left it in, like, personally. I think the fact that it's animated and the amount of people that could do, like, the character to the extent that we needed, I could have seen a recasting going well, but I could have seen it being taken very poorly, and it's just good that we don't have to worry about that.
You're saying you wouldn't have noticed the diddly difference?
Not really, honestly. I mean, like, so many animated shows, especially when you're watching anime in high school and you're going back and forth between English and Japanese. Like, there's already two people who voice every character, so what difference is it gonna make?
Oh boy. Well, I guess yeah. That's one thing you've got on me is, like, I haven't watched an anime show till what was it, last year? I believe was the first time I ever saw anything anime. So there you go. 2 years ago, maybe. I can't even remember now. I can't even remember which one it was that I watched first. I don't think it was. Oh, it may have been Attack on Titan. I think I watched the first few episodes of that first. Then I watched one about a basketball player in high school, and I watched one about food. One called Food Wars, which was fucked up, and a couple other ones. They get a little rapey, it seems.
Yeah, those ones definitely are strange, and I only really dabble in a couple of animes. I really like the fighting ones, and Mortal Kombat, but animated.
I know
it's very fun.
Naruto, would that be considered more of a kiddish style one, or is that more of a middle of the road, more adult kind of one?
I would say it's more geared towards children, and then, like, there's a sequel series that kind of hits the young adult aspects, and then
is that the one where people run weird and, like, stick their arms behind them?
Yes, it is.
Sperm or something like that running around. Oh my god! All right.
And but yes, speaking of Attack on Titan, I recently saw the first couple of episodes of that, and nobody had been telling me, like, describing that show to me properly, because I was always told about how, like, gory and how sick the Titans are, and how they just come in and kill everybody and nobody stands a chance. But nobody told me that, like, the main character is Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man.
And I was like, you should have told me that this is an anime about a bunch of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
because then I might have checked it out. Like,
in the multiverse. Attack on Titan is in the Marvel multiverse. Confirmed. Thanks to Daniel.
Well, they're not Spider-Man, but, like, they do a lot of Spider-Man like things.
Spider-Man. they're Spider-Man adjacent, maybe.
Yeah, more Dr. Octopus, really, because it's all contraption.
Ooh, that's not in the same universe, Daniel.
All right, so shall we? Yes, I also noticed like a couple days after our last episode, we had the premiere of the new Viking series.
Okay. Did it
I
premiere?
honestly need to go back and check the other one. I believe it was February 28th or 25th.
Okay. Yeah. I never really watched the first one, but I don't think you have to for this one. This one says it's 100 years later, right?
Mm-hmm. And really, like, I wanted to watch it because I had seen little pieces of it, and I really thought that it was interesting.
Yeah.
And I knew I had to actually sit down and watch the series, and I wanted to make sure there was enough of a series for me to watch when I did.
Right.
And then now I have at least 2 of them to go watch, so that'll be fun.
I wasn't too enthralled by Vikings. Like I may have watched an episode. It was whatever. It's more of a, I don't know. I almost consider it more of like a more historically based kind of Game of Thrones sort of thing, where it's just people hitting each other with swords, which is fine. But that wasn't for me. But this one has original kind of CanCon content or Canadian content, because one of the first guy you see or whatever who introduces himself anyways is Leif Erikson, who is the first European to come to North America, and he came to Newfoundland. So the very first little ideals of Canada is represented in this Viking show, but there's only so much yelling and screaming I want to see. I've been to Sweden. I've seen some Viking stuff, and that's cool. Do I need to see it reenacted? Well, I'll give it a try, at least to see what they're going to do with Leif Erikson. And I don't know if that means that they're going to have, is it Eric the Red? Is that his son, or it has to be? It would have to be that Eric the Red or whatever. Oh no, Eric the Red would have been his father, right? Because he's Eric's son.
I'm honestly completely ignorant to most of this, so right. I do not know, and that might be like part of the fun for me, is I know so little about the Vikings, and I do know that this show has, obviously they take creative liberties, but they have actually, like, I've heard that it is pretty like grounded in at least the Viking culture, other than if they can't be completely historically accurate,
Oh shit, he is your father. Right. So, and beat the shit out of the English or whatever, that's fine too.
Why not, right? Well, I mean, as an Irishman, yes, beat up the English, but also as an Irishman, I'm not sure how I feel about Vikings. I'll get back to you.
I don't think it went too well. Yeah, no. Again, it's a 3-episode thing. Did they drop the entire series, or are they doing it bits at a time?
That I could check, but I would have to leave my list again. But I know, like, it was, I noticed there wasn't one on my March list, and I was like, oh, did I miss it? And then I went back, and it was February 25th was at least the first episode of Vikings Valhalla.
Well, yeah, that's the thing where, I can give it 3 episodes. Why not? Yeah, especially if I don't have to go back into Vikings and watch that series to get caught up in this, then yeah, that makes it way easier. And then if I finish this thing, if I actually like it, then Vikings is something I can get into again afterwards or whatever. So it's not that big a slog or whatever to start up anyways. I don't have to get grounded in the lore of Vikings. I get it. Yeah.
That's the cool thing about, like, literally jumping 150 years is, yeah, we don't expect you to know anything. and we're gonna tell something new at the very least. So that'll be cool.
Let's see if any of the Swedish drinking songs I learned are going to show up in this. I'd be very happy if that would happen. Hey, long ago. Oh yeah, very good.
But let's put February behind us for a little bit. We've got a bunch of things in March here, so I know, right? Canadian February. We're happy it's over, let's say. We've got this week The Boys premieres, which is going to be very fun.
What's the name of it again? Diabolical? What is it? Is it
Diabolical? Yeah. The Boys presents Diabolical.
Yeah, the cartoon series. Yeah, we talked this before. Yeah, and again, I'm not a huge animation guy, but I am fully looking forward to this just to see what these guys are going to do. It should fucking be awesome.
And oh shit, I just noticed I can talk more about this next week, but because I can't remember all of it. But March 11th, Upload season 2 premieres on Amazon, and that was a very, very weird show about a guy who wants to divorce his girlfriend, who is very rich, and so instead of that, I believe her father intentionally crashes his car and gets him killed. And in this universe, people's minds are uploaded to a virtual reality, essentially. And now he lives at a super rich resort and has to be there anytime and yeah, it's kind of cool because you can go visit your loved ones in VR all the time, but he's now like literally in a cage whenever she wants to go see him, and he is otherwise dead.
I know that I watched at least the first episode. I think I may have watched 2. And I think I had a problem with a couple of the characters just rubbing me the wrong way.
Yeah, honestly, that show is so weird, but I had nothing to watch one day and just stuck it on, and I think I watched the whole season over the course of 2 or 3 days, and I was like, oh, that was interesting.
How many episodes? Like, is it like just a standard 12 episode run?
I think it was pretty short, like 10 or 12.
Okay, so is that something that I should look into or whatever? I'm out of shows right now. I'm currently not in a show that I'm going to be binging, so I have the time to catch up to some things if we need to.
I'm not sure, and there's quite a few things worth binging these days, so
that's the problem.
I can't really tell you, especially once we get into next week when The Boys is out and we've got Vikings and we've got another show that we're going to talk about later that premiered today. Yeah.
Okay.
Looking through my list, Charmed season 4 comes out, which seems strange for me to say.
Yeah.
Because
not 1 minute. I haven't seen 1 second of the new Charmed. I don't know if I'm guessing it's a reboot and the same characters just recast and blah blah blah. It's not
I think so. Yeah. I'm not super sure. I remember hearing some very, very disappointed fans after the first season came out, but I guess it found its own audience.
Yeah, I guess it's easy enough to produce it and enough eyes click on it, or what was it's probably through one of the streaming sites, I would imagine, or is it back on like the CW or whatever it was when it came out? I think it was
Charmed is on the CW. Yes.
Look at that.
If we head back over to streaming for a second on Disney Plus, I'm not sure what this Parallels show is, but I honestly not a clue. But we've got Moon Knight premiering at the end of March, and that is worth mentioning, even though everyone in the universe knows Moon Knight is premiering.
Yeah, but yes, I know it's coming, and it looked cool. Like the trailers look cool, but I have no idea what Moon Knight is about, except for that I think they said he might have multiple personalities or something, which is cool. So yeah, and I think he gets his power from like some Egyptian god or something, a la Shazam, but I'm not sure.
I cannot even verify that. I know, yes, that Moon Knight has multiple personalities, and I believe he fights demons.
Well, like I said, this is the same thing as like Peacemaker. I have no expectations going in, so I can just sit and enjoy this thing. I don't, it doesn't have to reach a certain bar for me. It doesn't. I don't have to have this character show up, that character show up, and this action happen. They can do whatever the fuck they want. I'm gonna enjoy it.
What I'm very curious about is, and Kate Bishop and Sylvie fall into this a little bit, but like, this is the first Disney Plus series that is completely removed from the MCU at large, because other than introducing a couple of new characters here and there, every other series has been based around a person who has already been in the MCU films.
Right.
And Moon Knight is the first one that is new. And I am very interested to see what happens with the hero that they premiere on streaming.
Yeah, and I don't know if they have any interest in bringing him to movies too. I'm
not sure either.
I don't know if he becomes an Avenger. I don't know if he becomes a Defender. I don't know if he becomes part of, Alpha Force or something like that, which wouldn't happen. Because he seemingly has an English accent. But, sort of an Alpha Flight. But, yeah, like I said, that's what's going to interest me. It's like not knowing. I don't care. Like the bad guy, I don't know who that is. Great. I don't care. Do whatever you need to do. Yeah, it's awesome. Like, yeah, I cannot be let down because I have no expectations. I'm here for that. Peacemaker.
Then I'm just quickly, we'll just dip back into regular television. There's Atlanta season 3 coming in March. That's worth talking about.
Yeah, that's what I need to see. I need to see Atlanta.
Yeah, I believe the first 2 seasons are on Disney Plus right now. At least the first one is.
I can watch them now. I know I can watch
them.
Yeah. Maybe that's on my God damn it.
And that's like I saw the first 3 episodes, I believe, and then I just ended up just too busy and didn't end up watching the rest of it. And at this point, I got to go back and watch those 3 again and then continue the series. But I really liked it.
Good. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I know. Childish Gambino, what are you gonna do? So good.
And then HBO has 3 different things that I've never heard of that are all premiering, so that's interesting. And then one thing that I have heard of that is premiering.
Okay.
We've got Thursday, Our Flag Means Death premieres. Yes. Our pirate show, finally.
Yes, finally.
This is gonna be interesting. I don't know what to expect yet, and I cannot wait.
Did you watch Flight of the Conchords? Like, have you seen Restart?
Like, I've seen Flight of the Conchords, but I couldn't tell you what it's about. Like, I just know that I've seen it.
Yeah, he was their band manager. So funny. He is fucking awesome. Yeah. And with and having Taika Waititi in there and stuff too. It's already the show already wins. It's already gonna win. It's just a matter of getting to see it now. So Thursday. Oh my god, I have so much Thursday. Goddamn. So yeah, I have a late night Thursday because I have shit to do, and then for 100% watching Our Flag Means Death.
And then it looks like there's some sort of docu-series coming out on the Lakers as well.
Winning Time.
Yeah.
Winning Time looks fucking awesome. It looks like Boogie Nights set in basketball, like in a true story about
Mm-hmm.
basketball. Yeah, so it's gonna, yeah, it just looks great. But such a stupid name. It's got to be that it's Showtime it must be called Showtime in the States, and for whatever reason they can't call it that in Canada, so they have to call it Winning Time, which is freaking ridiculous. They were the Showtime Lakers. That was their nickname, Showtime. Like, why would they call it? Oh, it's Winning Time. Like, come on. It sounds like one of those knockoffs, like the GoBots or something like that. It's terrible. It's terrible. Like, they should have thought of just, they can do like Magic versus Bird or something like that. They could have done anything. Winning Time.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So, yes, and then we've got premieres pretty much every week of the month for The Tourist, Minx, and Julia. Not really sure about any of those, but it's HBO. So if the genre of the show is a genre that you like, you should watch the first 2 episodes and see if this show's for you.
Right.
Because HBO is always worth checking out because of the production value, but then it's always a personal preference on whether the show is right.
Taco is going to check him out if he watches anything HBO, but I don't know if I will, just because there's so much else going on. So we'll see if there's good word on any of these shows. I don't mind carving out some time to try and watch it, but that'd be I don't think I'll go out of my way.
For the American viewers, because it's Hulu, we've got The Dropout coming out this week. Life and Beth, March 18th, and The Girl from Plainville, March 29th. I've actually heard of The Girl from Plainville, but I cannot quite put my finger on what it was again.
I have no idea. I haven't heard of any of these, really.
Yeah, there's... Honestly, I just found this list, and I was like, wow, this is so many things coming out in March. There's over 2 episodes, 2 series per day almost. And one in particular that I really want to talk about, so I'm going to skip down this list a little bit.
Boy, all right.
There are, 2, 4, 6, 8 different shows premiering on Netflix in March. Or not just premiering. 2 of them are returning shows. 6 new premiering shows in March on Netflix. That is insane. One of them today came out. I'm going to talk about it in our second segment. The Guardians of Justice premiered. That is an interesting show. I do want to keep watching that one. I want to check it out.
Is that a weekly show now as well? Or do you only have time to watch one?
I only had time to watch 1 episode, but there were multiple. I don't know if it was the whole series, but there were at least 4. I could scroll. Yeah, we've got Picard coming out this week as well. And at the end of the month on Paramount, we've also got the Halo TV series, which I've actually heard quite mixed reviews about it. I've seen quite a few people say it looks pretty disappointing, and I don't know the story of Halo, so I won't be able to comment on its its ability to get the story and the lore proper, but it does look pretty good.
That might be an advantage. That might be an advantage to the show, though. I've never played Halo. I know it has to do with a guy named Master Chief. I know who the character is, and I know it's first-person shooter. It should be a game or whatever. I just never owned an Xbox my entire life, so I've never played Halo because it was the only thing it was out on was Xbox. So that would be a show I would be able to watch again with no expectations. So I would probably find it entertaining if I wanted to see that kind of show. There's just so much based on other kind of shows happening already. I don't know the reason why I would have to watch Halo, but if enough people are watching it and stuff like that, I'll give it a watch or whatever. I don't want to be left behind. I can fit in with the youth. I'm only 22 years old.
I went in watching the trailer and I figured there's one thing that's going to get me to watch the show, and it was seeing the energy sword in the trailer, and I got that right away. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna check this out at least once. And
what's it coming on?
It's Paramount Plus, so I don't know. I don't know. It could be anywhere. Keep your eyes peeled. Yep. Over on Peacock, we've got Joe versus Carol premiering, which I guess I have to talk about, but I really don't want to.
I never watched Tiger King. I never saw.
Me neither.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know.
I never saw the appeal.
Yeah, I'd have no problem watching this show instead.
I watched it and I binged it because it's like driving by a car wreck that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you just can't look away.
You're just waiting to see someone's arm on the.
But basically, that's what it is. It's a train wreck that's just it gets you.
On that note, like as somebody who did watch the actual docuseries, would you watch a dramatization of it? Because I believe this one is like actors playing the characters.
But is it a dramatization, or would they play it up even more?
This is a dramatization. It's Kate McKinnon playing.
So would they be playing this for actual laughs, or would they be playing this kind of straight?
Well, with this, if I'm being honest, I'll probably wait till after it comes out, see what people are saying before I think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Peacock is a hurdle. But it does come out in 2 days, so we will have some ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I needed to mention it, is because it's in 2 days. But I could take or leave any show about Tiger King, really.
Yeah. Don't we get things from Peacock and stuff like that? Isn't that on? I don't know what it'd be on. Netflix? Don't we get some Peacock shows on Netflix?
I cannot remember. It's so confusing, and I believe, like, the thing is they're not all 1-to-1, and so some of these studios don't have the contracts with and especially when they're trying to launch their own streaming services, don't have the same contract structures in Canada as they do in the States, and specifically in Quebec and the rest of Canada. It goes back and forth. And so sometimes those shows for the Canadian rights end up just broken up and piecemealed out to whoever will network them.
Yeah.
And like highest bidder gets the show on their network, essentially. And so
I'm trying to think of if Bel Air is a Peacock show that's on Amazon. Peacock or Hulu? I can't remember which one. I think NBC owns both, or NBC owns Peacock. I know that.
I thought Bel Air was a Peacock show, and so if that's airing on Stack, right? It's Amazon, but Stack TV.
Yeah, that's what I'm watching. I'm watching Amazon. So Showcase. So who knows?
It's so confusing.
And the same. MacGruber was the same one.
Yeah. And yet, like, Showcase is when you're getting it on television in the same package as a bunch of things that just air on Crave now, and it's so confusing. It's not worth getting into.
Yeah.
But speaking of, I guess we can speak of Bel Air if you would like to recap that.
Well, it's still so good, and that Uncle Phil is so good, and I'm hoping that I'm not usually to put it bluntly, I couldn't give shits about awards and stuff like that, but if there isn't anything for this guy who's playing Dr. Phil, there's been a mistake, because this guy is so good. The episode really good. looks like Will is starting to fit in a little better now. It seemed the resolution to the problem he had in the last episode, I felt, was too easily taken care of, considering they left it as a big cliffhanger and stuff like that at the end. I'm, I wish they weren't making Carlton such almost like a crybaby and angry all the time. It's just not who that character is. That's the only thing that I'm kind of fighting internally for and stuff like that. But the other stuff, everything else is going great. I am thoroughly enjoying it. Like that kid who's Will Smith too. Oh my God. It's like embodying Will Smith and he's not over the top. It's not crazy. He isn't an asshole. He isn't mugging or anything like that. He just seems like when they found this kid, they found a chunk of gold and stuff like that. The between him, Uncle Phil, even the woman playing Aunt Viv, so good. Jeffrey on the show is such a different character than the original, but works really well. I enjoy the storyline with Uncle Phil. You still don't know if he's in it for himself by doing this, or if he's actually in it for Will. Or it's probably a little column A, column B, and it should rectify itself through it. But if you haven't seen any of it yet, I highly suggest starting to watch Bel-Air. Incredibly enjoyable. I still need to go back and watch those first few episodes of The Fresh Prince, though. Like, I don't know. Like, I do wonder if this follows the same kind of trajectory that the sitcom did. Just haven't gotten around to it, but yeah, that's something that like I've gotten 3 hours in. That's equivalent to what, 10 episodes or so of sitcom, 22 minutes each. So yeah, because it's only about 45 minutes, so it's only 2, so 6 episodes. So if I watch 6 episodes of The Fresh Prince, by the time the next episode airs for us in Canada, which is Mondays, I'll have an idea and stuff like that. And I've known that they're going completely off of something, like, again, because I didn't follow Fresh Prince so close, or if this is hitting a little closer to home than I realized. But I just have no idea.
And yeah, so was that episode 5 just dropped then?
3.
That was 3?
That was only the 3rd episode for us. That's why I'd like.
Okay.
In America, I believe they had 3 episodes drop at once, and then after that it was weekly. Yes,
I remember that.
Yeah.
So there are 6 episodes. I believe 5 episodes are out now, and so that means 3. So maybe in about 4 weeks I'll be able to pick up Bel-Air and chain all of the episodes, because then I'll be able to get a Stack TV subscription, and during 1 month I can watch all of the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, it'll be one of those shows, I think, that you can just keep going on. It's just next.
Yeah.
They do go together well. It's just that, yeah, the resolution to the problem from the 2nd episode, I think, was too easily dealt with going into this episode. And I also think one of the bigger overall problems of the entire show is already seeming to happen. And I think it's a little too fast for that. But it hasn't taken away from my enjoyment of the show. It's just, I just trust what these guys are doing. Like, the show is really good. Just, would I have rather seen things spaced out? But that's just the way I am. Save some stuff for later. You don't have to get it all out of the way. But again, I don't know if these guys didn't know that they were going to have blank amount of episodes to do, or if they were going to be, doing a 2nd season of it, or what's happening.
All right. And oh God, I'm trying in the background to look up what the Guardians of Justice are, because I'm going to be talking about this first episode, and I actually cannot find anything.
Maybe that's trying to tell you something.
That is very interesting.
Maybe but you just made up.
Oh no! I watched this episode. I could not have made this shit up.
Sure.
So this show, I believe, takes place in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. After keeping Earth at peace for 40 years, Marvelous Man leaves a mission up to both his bitter, violent Lieutenant Nighthawk and idealistic The Speed to stop nuclear war. I guess that kind of does spoil episode 1, though.
Because Andy Milanakis is in this thing? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Right. The first little bit of the episode starts off with this guy. He's Superman, Marvelous Man, and he stopped World War III in the 1940s,
right?
Which the math doesn't add up, but that's fine. And then they have 40 years of peace, and then eventually he is pushed away by the people of Earth because he fails to save everyone, and it seems like he's like got preferences for certain nations and this and that. So they send him away, and now things are starting to get worse. And then a thing happens that I don't want to spoil all of the first episode, but and why like the show is so interesting, but he is not around, and literally it's the Justice League. There's a speedster. There's a speedster. There's an Amazon.
Yeah, I was thinking more like Invincible, maybe, or whatever. That was by the sound of it, but. If you think
yeah, like I mean, it's very much like The Boys in that everybody is like almost a 1-to-1 copy of the Justice League. The character Nighthawk that I mentioned there is a Batman clone. The Speed is obviously a Flash clone. There's an Aquaman one. There, it's very, very evident, but also very, very amusing. And yeah, so there's a weird American president called like Duke Nukem, I believe. No, it is President Nukem, but I don't think it's Duke Nukem.
It's a little on the nose.
Yeah, that. And it's very, very interesting. But one of the most odd things is I believe they do random stills of animation and then blur it into live action as they change scenes, and it's an odd like thing at first when it starts happening, and then by the end of the episode I was actually like really hoping each scene had one of those like frames, and that was very cool.
So yeah, so you enjoyed that kind of aspect of it where it kind of blurs in between. Now, does it just look like a green screen show? Like, can you tell like it's kind of green screeny?
I honestly couldn't tell you. Like, usually I would notice that in like a second episode or a second viewing, but the first one I really was just trying to check out who the characters were. There's a lot of them, and keeping track of all of them in the first 21 minutes is interesting.
Okay, I have an important question for you, and I want you to answer honestly.
Hey, what's up, Ben?
Hey, Ben. I need your honest answer.
What's that?
Is Dallas Page the best thing to happen to a comic book TV series yet or not?
I cannot say that he is because J.K. Simmons is alive.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry.
J.K. Simmons gives someone the diamond cutter out of nowhere?
Probably.
What?
I wouldn't say that he can't because he's J.K. fucking Simmons.
Good potty mouth there. That's fine.
I'm sorry. Our show does contain mature and immature language.
Oh my god. And brief nudity.
What?
Nothing.
No. We cannot do that on YouTube.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
The Patreon episodes with Rob. Okay, so also, speaking of Marvelous and Marvelous Man and our Marvelous March, we have one more Mrs. Maisel to talk about in the Marvelous category.
Sure.
Okay, Brendan Fraser in Doom Patrol is pretty good, but yes, we still have, again, J.K. Simmons is Omni-Man, so but yes, Mrs. Maisel is back. I am so excited about finally getting to watch this season because I mean COVID interrupted it for one.
Is that one of the problems? Okay.
Well, yeah, like the last season was literally so long ago because it must have been one of the shows that was literally filming when the world was shut down for a little while.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I had the thing where I watched the first two seasons while the third one was going on. So I eventually ended up catching up. I think for the last episode, maybe of season 3, I caught up. I had watched everything and then got to see the last episode as it aired. Again, I just forget in my head or whatever when the last show was or whatever, just because there's been so much going on. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. You may not want to keep tuning in. I can tell you that right now. So, yeah, what did you think? 4 episodes. Is that right? 4 episodes? Was it worth the wait?
So far, yes. I've been through 3 of them. I'm sitting on one of them for actually after work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really have been like satisfied with what's happening, and also like I'm curious about the new storylines they're opening with her manager and all of the different characters. We're just getting like a little deeper into the side characters' backstories. Things like that happen in season 4s.
Right.
But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I hope I hope that the rest of the season has more of her performing, but everything in the show is hilarious, and specifically the scene in like at the bar mitzvah in episode 3 is one of the funniest things I've ever watched.
Abe Weissman is one of my favorite television characters.
I wish I had my cape.
So it was so good.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Anything to do with him and his wife, even with and then with the in-laws as well, the Maisels and stuff like Moisha and stuff. So good. I've really liked the stuff with Midge this year too. Is the stuff with Susie. It hasn't, usually anytime Susie was on in the last few seasons or whatever was, going to be the highlight of the episode. This year so far, it hasn't been. It's a couple of strange turns, I think, with her. I think they're trying to play up the comedy bit on it a little bit too much instead of just letting it happen. I can't remember what episode it's in, but when she was with Midge's mom while she was doing her job or whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing there when she's acting like a child because get her more paper so she can color.
Whereas, like, in contrast, goddamn, what's his name? The husband, or well, the ex-husband.
Joel?
Yes, Joel. The episode when she's with Joel is like the exact opposite of that. Everything is flowing super smoothly and perfectly, and just like he's also so funny too. The money that I was gonna say for you that you never gave me, that she doesn't have and you don't have and I don't have, so I'm gonna get. It's really funny.
And it's nice to live in those times and stuff like that back in the 50s when everything was on credit and they would take checks and you could and then you get slapped back to reality when saying, well, this was your husband's credit, so it places you into the world there a little bit. I still don't know how they got that apartment back. That must have 4 or 5 bedrooms, and it's right downtown. So I don't know how much that would have cost, but okay, it's a television show. You just go with it. You suspend belief about the cost of a New York City 5-bedroom apartment with two living rooms and a kitchen and a staff with nobody working except for one man and voice. What are you gonna do?
And we've also got. I have confirmation here that 2 more episodes come out on Thursday. So
okay,
Friday.
They're going to do that same thing where they poop out a few every week or whatever, but not all. Yeah, saving it. Savor them.
If Amazon keeps doing this, it might just become their new model.
Well, I like the way they do that. That's why, I wish they would have done that with Reacher. Instead of just putting them all out, I would have, I enjoyed every episode of Reacher, but I got it done so fast. It was so fast. Like that one, I watched it in a day, the entire series, which is great. But, I want to have some time to savor it. I want to have some time to talk to somebody about it. When you're going to watch an entire series of a show, it's not like you're going to be talking to anybody about it. You're just gorging it. You're just, there's no time to talk. You're eating. You know what I mean? You're stuffing your face full of Reacher. And with this, at least you can savor it a little bit. You can sit back and have a sip of coffee after every couple episodes. Enjoy what you had, and we can show up on this show and talk about what just happened.
Oh, interesting.
What's this now?
Yeah. The actor who plays Jackie actually passed, and that's why they made it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
He passed in late 2019 before filming started on season 4. That's sad news to learn when you're just scrolling through. I was scrolling. And also, in slightly less sad news, because the passing of someone obviously wins out, but
sure.
Yeah, these are the last episodes of Mrs. Maisel as well.
I thought they were doing a 5th season.
It does seem from all of these articles that the 4th is the last.
Okay. Well, they got a lot of work to do with Midge. You'd hate to see that when all this ends up is going to be where she is now and stuff like that, which that's another thing I don't understand, how she just went to this. I understand she got blackballed, but I guess maybe they're starting now that some other characters are coming back. You haven't seen the 4th one, so maybe it'll start resolving itself more, but I would Midge, she deserves better than what she's got right now, for sure.
All right, well, let me immediately correct myself. Because it's literally 2 weeks ago it was set for season 5, which is the final. And I don't know why a bunch of those articles were titled as the exit.
How dare you? How dare you?
Hey, it's these clickbait friggin' reviews. What do you want me to do about them?
That's right. You're right. So yeah, and the way they put these things out, maybe season 5 comes out in 8 years or something like that. But we can hope.
And then but I am actually very happy that there's another season, because I didn't know what they were gonna do in six more episodes. I think they're only 10 episode runs.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, there's there would have been a lot of work to do in 6 episodes. A lot of work.
And so very happy about that. Give me 1 second.
You can tell me something else is ending?
No, I'm going to tell you your Jets are beating the Canadians.
Nice.
Yeah, I just saw like a notification pop up and I was like, oh, let me go check that. Good.
Well, it's the Jets, so if there's a team that's going to blow a lead, it would be the Winnipeg Jets. It's what they do.
And I don't have anything particular more to talk about on Maisel. You have anything?
For Maisel, no. And now we're at a point where we can talk about the episodes coming up. If you're going to be watching 4 or whatever, we can get into what's going to be happening coming up here. But I don't want to say much more because I have gone through 4. But yeah, Tony Shalhoub as Abe Weissman is comedy gold, and the Maisels, Kevin Pollak and like Moisha and his wife, so good. I like how she always has to, when she calls Joel, she always has to say it's her name, his mother, and stuff like that. So good.
Yeah, it's me, your mother.
Yeah, I love all the stuff in the synagogue. If Mrs. Maisel ends, if there's some way we could just have Abe Weissman's life in the show or whatever continue on, we get to see it. It'd be so difficult to do, but I can't even talk about this. Yeah, I can't even talk about anything. So yeah, maybe it's best to put a cork in Mrs. Maisel now until we're caught up, because there's a few things that happen coming up that's pretty good. I enjoyed the 4th episode the most of the 4 that dropped, for sure.
And so if we've got a couple of seconds just to shoot the shit anyway, we'll probably do a slightly shorter episode today. Maybe go a little over an hour though. But you had mentioned earlier in our group chat that you were watching a different reboot show. Which
not
one was that? The Law and Order.
Yeah,
revamp.
Yeah, this is more of a revamp, because they didn't. They're not taking any of the characters and changing them. They just they're continuing on. This is like a Dexter, sort of like Fuller House, where it's the same characters but older. It's the same kind of thing. What's his name? McCoy is back as the DA, so he's the guy who's the thread line through every show. And Anthony Anderson is back as one of the detectives. I know that he was in the last, I think it was the last couple of seasons. Jesus, they start to blend together so much. But he's got a new partner, a new cop or whatever, and Cameron Manheim is now the police sergeant or whatever, and she was very good. The new DA was, it is what it is with them. I just couldn't get over. He looked like, I don't know if you ever watched Star Trek Deep Space Nine, but they had these guys that ran the other side of this wormhole, and they were the big bad guys. And then they had these other guys that came and spoke for them that were their mouthpieces basically, and they had this weird face like this. And that's what this guy kind of looks like. He looks like one of those alien guys with this big weird face, but it's human. So anyways, I couldn't get over that. I think but when it comes down to it, they've changed nothing about that show. Of course, the first episode they've done in 10 years for Law and Order, and it's a rip from the headlines one where they have to say, this following program has nothing to do with real life people at all, and it's about one of the most successful entertainers in America who drugged and raped a whole bunch of women gets murdered. So it's like, oh, I don't think that's a little on the nose to Mr. Dumbass Cosby, but there you go. According to Law and Order, that's all you have to do to get away with it. Yeah, it followed. It's the exact same thing. This thing didn't waver off of their little recipe at all. It was the exact same 30 minutes of law, the last exact same 30 minutes of order, as you come to expect from Law and Order. And that's not a bad thing. That friggin' show ran for 21 years. And if they got rid of it just because they had nothing else to write about at the time or whatever, fine. They got 12 years to think of stuff. They can have another good run. I 100% doubt it's going to be 21 years worth. But, if Charmed can get to season 4 and no one's ever seen a minute of it, maybe. But yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't a great episode of television. But it was, it was comfort food. Sometimes your mom's tuna casserole isn't the best, but you got used to your mom's tuna casserole. So once in a while you crave, your mom's tuna casserole. And that's what this show is. It's just home cooking. That's about, as good or bad as that could be. So if you've never seen a Law and Order episode, you can just tune into this one if you want. The thread lines in the Law and Order series were only just sort of there, just so you could keep up with the people who are dropping in and out. I'd skip maybe the Chris Noth ones or whatever. That's not great. But yeah.
Yeah. So I've got one final thing as well. Speaking of crimes and solving them, and I did a crime and I solved it. I did it. It was easy to solve.
Part of our show where we call confessions. This is
no, but
please.
I did finish Murderville finally.
Finally.
Yeah. I finally got one wrong.
Oh.
Last
episode. Last one.
Yeah.
Which one was the last? Not Sharon Stone. Was that
Ken Jeong?
Oh, the Ken Jeong one. Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was difficult, and then also it turns out it was spoilers. And so I kind of was following Ken Jeong's logic the whole time. So I ended up I had the person, and then I was like, I've got him, like dead to rights, easy. And then my mind was changed. And then me and Ken Jeong both got the same person, and we're both wrong. And I was like, I finally missed one.
Yeah. I can't remember which ones I got wrong and got right anymore. I think I was 50-50. I think I got 3 wrong and 3 right, but it's usually I'm not paying too close attention. I was just laughing. I know I didn't get the Marshawn Lynch one right, and I'm not sure if I got the Sharon Stone one. What else? I may have. Yeah, I probably got Ken Jeong wrong as well. I'm thinking 3 and 3. I got the Conan O'Brien right. I know that.
Sharon Stone was fucking hilarious too.
Yeah.
Like the whole episode was ridiculous, and
the 2 casting choices, you think, well, why? it would have been Marshall and Sharon Stone, and they were both great. They were both great episodes.
Mm.
Now, which one did you like best? What was your favorite episode?
I do have to say Ken Jeong, because like it was both in universe, it was the most important case. It was also very fun, and I also liked that Ken Jeong literally like gets to say the most ridiculous things in that like interview, because he is both a doctor and an actor. It's the weirdest combination of job credentials ever. And it was just very fun to watch him and Will Arnett just like destroy each other.
Yes. My favorite scene, I know my favorite scene from the entire series was with Camille and Johnny, when Camille asked him to do the accent, the Pakistani accent to Will Arnett, and he had to think on his feet, how can I do this without being a monster? And he figured it out and was fantastic. I fucking laughed so hard at that. Anyways, I can't wait for another season. I'm hoping that they did more than just a 6 and that they were just releasing them at some point later. I'm hoping that they did a whole bunch so that, people aren't in on it, on the joke at all. People don't quite get it. Hopefully, I think that when at its most pure is when that show is its best. Like again, the Marshawn Lynch to Sharon Stone. When they don't have somebody who's known for ad-libbing and stuff like that. Although putting ad-libbers in would be great too. Like, again, like I said before, Jason Mantzoukas would be a dream to have.
Yeah. And he would be very similar to the Ken Jeong one. Like, Ken Jeong knew exactly what was happening, and like you see he breaks like a million times in the episode because everything is just absurd.
Yes.
And like he realizes so quickly that like all of this is the comedy bit that we're doing. And so he's able to play within a sort of different field than everybody else got to, because they were trying to seriously play this character. and Ken knew from the jump that he didn't need to be serious. He could go 110%, and Jason Mantzoukas would do 172%, but it would also be hilarious.
Now, did you have any interest in watching the British version, like the original version?
I actually had forgotten until this moment that there was one, but I had meant to check it out. I honestly wasn't sure if it was going to be as similar. Like, have you watched it?
Yeah, well, I've watched a few episodes, and they're all funny. It's a little bit different. I can't remember the name of the English actor playing the detective, but he's funny. Another gruff kind of voice, but with an English accent kind of thing. But what happens with this one, where they can have stars just come in? The show is called Murder in Successville. Now, Successville is just filled with celebrities. That's its only population.
Okay.
So, for instance, the guy who's the police chief in this show is a guy who's playing Gordon Ramsay. So, just so you have an idea of how it's going to go. So that's why when they bring in a star as the trainee detective inspector, or whatever they call them over there, that's how they can get away with it. Like who else? Taylor Swift is works in the morgue. Like, and yeah, it's just so you have an idea. So that's how that one works. But it's really good. Like honestly, but I enjoy English humor and like their shows probably more so than I enjoy like Canadian definitely Canadian, but even most American shows. So I'm a little biased when it comes to it, but I really enjoyed the first 3 episodes that I watched. And I believe they've got 18. I think they had 3 series worth. This is off the top of my head. So yeah. Again, I just had to catch up on the other stuff, or I'd be watching more of it. So now that I've caught up on stuff, man, like again, just another thing that jumps in your head. It's like, oh, you need to watch more of this. Oh, you should start watching this. Why don't you get back into this? I have all this stuff on the go now. So
right, and but hey, speaking of catching up on shows and having the time to do that,
sure.
We will create some of that time by ending the show a little bit early. Hey, since episode 1, we've been running long to make up for a moment like this, where actually we had tons of news. We just kind of flew through it. Just we covered a good 10, 11 shows tonight. Like, whew.
Like a fine-tuned machine now.
March is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And yeah. Did you have a final thought?
No. All I'm thinking is, we didn't even talk about a show I finished, but we can get into that at any point later and stuff like that. We're on a good spot now. We're on a good spot.
yeah. We're on a good time. So where can the people find you? And pick your brain about television news.
You can find me here. That's about it. That's it. You can find me on Have You Seen This? On Twitter, I'm at Snark Yeti. If you really give a shit how I did in Wordle, or I don't really do too much more, I just want to give a shout out to Dave, and I hope everything's going okay, and wish you and your family well here, and we'll hopefully see you next week. And that's it for me. What's up with you, Daniel?
Yeah, just want to echo that. Hope everything's all well in his family, and I hope he gets back soon, or doesn't have to. Like, don't rush. we can slowly hold the ship.
Oh my god!
It'll sink, but we can hold it.
Say that. So does listening.
We'll hold on to the wheel as the ship sinks. We can't do this without you.
Oh my god!
Okay, but and I can be found also pretty much here on Have You Seen This? Possibly guesting around other places around the Northern Entertainment Group, and you can also find me on Twitter. I'm at Corrupted Canuck, corrupted with a K, for my personal favorite Schmodown team. And that's another show that debuted this last week, and we can talk about it more in the coming weeks once there's
once we know what the hell we're doing.
Shows that aren't behind a paywall to talk about, for one. But yeah, it kind of seems like they're going for a television show format, almost a Monday Night Raw. So it seems interesting to say the least. I want to see what they're up to in that realm.
Back to the kind of stuff that I fell in love with the Schmodown about. I could never really give two shits about the trivia. It's all about everything else. So yes, hopefully. Yeah, I hope they can maintain what they're doing.
I've always been of the opinion that straight down the middle is perfect, but I do love all of the theatrics, and who better to bring theatrics but Video Drew? Yeah, I said it, Dave. Video Drew is the best at theatrics.
She's the best.
And yeah, so that's about it. So for myself, for Rob, for Soda in the back, and for the rest of the Northern Entertainment Group, have an excellent night, everybody.